Welcome to Commander Tech and More. Today, as part of the More series, we're going to be taking a look at the HexClad 12-inch fry pan. So, I don't know about you, but I've seen a lot of commercials about this, mainly from Gordon Ramsay. And it got me thinking whether or not it was worth it. So previously, I've been using like Teflon pans, so I'm very curious and we're going to see how it does. Now, why is this a piece of technology? Well, it's got different materials. Stainless steel, aluminum, meshed between another piece of stainless steel, and then it's got the non-stick and stainless surface. So it's actually, the stainless steel allows it to work with induction. The aluminum spreads out the heat, a lot like your computer heatsink, and then it gets to the top. And then this, I guess, is its claim to fame. And, well, we're going to, of course, kind of test it out a little bit. Box claims oven safe to 500 degrees, which is pretty normal. The Teflon also has that. Metal utensils, I will not be testing that because that seems dumb to use on a non-stick surface. Tri-ply construction, that's what we just saw over here. Stay cool metal handles. Scratch resistant, that is a big thing. Lifetime warranty, wow. Okay, that is a selling point and helps a little bit with justifying the cost. This lid version was like $200. Non-stick inside and outside for easy cleaning. Let's see. Favorite technology, induction, ceramic, halogen, PPO-free, gas, or I'm sorry, not PPO-free, PFOA-free, oven, and dishwasher. I would not use it in the dishwasher. Not that it necessarily matters, but it comes in these bags. I've obviously already opened it. Actually, maybe not obviously. I have already opened it and started using it at the time of this filming, but the bags are fairly nice. It's like a plasticky fabric. And here's the pan. And once again, I have used it a few times. So the lid, this is the first, today's the first day at filming that I use the lid. It's very heavy, which is probably a good thing. The glass is fairly thick, so should be fairly robust. It's got the little steam hole. The gaps around the outside seemed pretty good. Most of the steam was escaping through the little vent hole, but a little bit was coming out the edges. Just got a little bit of that groove going on, but overall feels fairly well made. The inside here is really what's unique, and I don't know how well it'll show up. We're gonna try to get the zoom. There we go. So you can see the black is the non-stick surface, and then the like silvery areas are that metal that's peeking through. So when you rub your finger across it, you hear that little bumpy sound. This is my current mainstay fry pan. It is just Teflon with the red dot, and you can hear the difference. You have to excuse the Teflon one. It's been in use for 2 years, I think. So this one is also capable of cooking on multiple different types of surfaces, obviously gas, electric, whether it's the glass top, ceramic top, whatever, and induction. And it does it through these little metal pieces. So it fills in the gaps with steel, I believe, and then most of it is aluminum. Now, I guess I'm older now, but I really haven't owned that many different frying pans models. And I personally like these thicker based ones where it just gives an extra bit of thickness to it. I have owned really cheap ones that are super thin and they end up warping. So having a thick base or a thick amount of metal around the, specifically the base, just increases the overall durability of the pan. It also has an added benefit. When you have a thicker bottom to it, it allows for fewer hot spots. So no stove is perfect. There are going to be hot spots. If there's, let's say, a hot spot underneath like this section, it's more likely to get spread out over a larger section of the pan. So this is beneficial. So that's why I like thicker bases. That's one of the reasons why cast iron is still incredibly popular. But there's a time and place for cast iron, and I do think that there's a time and place for non-stick. And I do apologize, this one was used tonight, so it's a little bit dirty still from the eggs and stuff. But the spots weren't off. It took about 3 years to get to that point. So the non-sticky is not quite as good, and honestly, it wasn't really mistreated. It is the exact same model as the other one. So there's that. And these pans were around $65. Now I actually thought it was cheaper than that. The non-induction versions are less expensive, but personally I bought one and I ended up returning it. I found that the base on it was thinner, which is why I ended up not keeping it. So before we get into how long it takes for it to basically boil 4 cups of water, we're going to check out how basically liquids flow inside of it. Okay, this is 1 cup of water. First is the Teflon. And the point of this is, will water stay in the middle or does it go off to the sides? Well, with the Teflon, the water has a tendency to pool on the sides. So we're going to try to get into the middle again. And you can see that, I mean, there's surface tension going on. But the water has a tendency to try to go to the edges. And this means that the fat collects around the edges, or in greases and oils, as opposed to being in the middle. So this means that the cooking would generally be less oily. But if you need the oil to cook, then it's not an advantage. How about over here? Right? Pouring in some water. And the water is just right in the middle. It's perfectly flat. I consider this perfect in terms of it being flat, as opposed to this. Now, the real question becomes, is that feature, being flat, worth the extra expense? And I've owned copper-based ones. I've owned a bunch of other like hybrid materials. I've owned flat griddles, and I've ended up just kind of sticking with this because it catches grease and blah, 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 blah. So I'm liking the flat base, just as simple as that. Let's do the heat up test. In that test, the burner would be set to 100%, and it would have given time to warm up, actually basically immediately after cooking. So it was hot, 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 hot. The pan was put on it with 4 cups of water, and it was the time for it to reach a little bit of boil and then full body boil. 6 minutes of boiling time. 6 minutes, 46 seconds. 5 minutes, 20 seconds. 5 minutes, 30 seconds. 5 minutes, 40 seconds. Alright, a couple years of use, about. That's how well it drips off the water. The HexClad has only been used 3 or 4 times. Let's see how well it rolls off the water. Similar. Overall similar. Personally, while cooking with it, Haven't seen any real difference between how much spray oil, just, you know, regular ham, that I have to use with it for cooking to keep things from sticking on. I did scrambled eggs on it, it did just fine. No real difference, but it was nice not having all of it drip to the edges, because like when I crack an egg in this, it'll right up to the sides. And this stayed put right in the middle, perfect. I actually think it will ends up being less greasy, because like for eggs, it rolls off to the side and then it's sitting in the pool of grease. Nothing yet. So kind of a conclusion, what I think about the HexClad. So far seems pretty good. The price is pretty outrageous, in my opinion. But it has all the features that I would really want in a pan: non-stick, the dual materials for every single type of cooking surface. The flat bottom is really the biggest one. Ease of cooking is normal, so right, I'm thinking about keeping it. Well, I guess with the end of that, thank you for joining me on my more series where I do fun stuff around my house, I guess. And I'll see you next time.